might actually be able. Right. Is that the share button? Okay, so I'm not going to be talking for the first minute or two, just building up my numbers. Right, it's already one person. Right, hello, we'll be talking now, you more. What's this? Right, okay. Right, if you're wondering what I'm doing with the computer and the typing noise, it's just basically me getting this video shared around as much as humanly possible. So, yeah, you can tell it's not the most happy of topics. So that's my video channel called Vannon Vids. Been given a link to it, so I'll just go into my former comedian page. Actually, used to be a comedian. The eminent word is used to. Oh, we've got two people in. Right, okay. I would love to know who you are. If you can, just pop your name into the comments so I know who we're all talking to as well. Okay, so I've got my. Might actually speak to the. Okay, so I'm just going to jump over to Twitter, but I can give you a kind of brief of what's happening, and yeah, you can see my Optimus Prime coat in the background. But anyway, yeah, the brief isn't happy at all. I actually had my electric bike and its D-lock stolen, and it is very very likely that it had been picked. I mean, it was that kind of standard type block I have. I go for all out when it comes to security. So I mean, there's two options. The only way to break through this is with an angle grinder. It can be very loud, very smelly, sparks flying all over the place. But it's more likely someone's diddled the lock, diddle diddle and fiddle riddle. And that happened in the Renfrew Head car park complex called Red Car Park, ground floor. And that happened yesterday, as in the 25th of the 5th, 2022. I parked at 2 o'clock, going to see my pal. My pal was actually with me as I locked it up. And he was like, "Yeah, Andrew, take your battery back." And I put it away in my back, and then when I came back at 4 o'clock after shopping and whatever blokes do in a shopping centre, the whole thing was gone. There was not even a trace. It only changed it had happened, and that bit of the car park I parked in was shopping trolleys had been moved in and out. And interestingly enough, at 2 o'clock, when me and the mate had parked the bike and locked it up, because of, I don't know whoever parked this big shopping trolley and it had been severed from the wheels at the bottom, and it looked really odd, and it was going to hurt either my mate or I. So my mate actually moved it so I could move it the road without fucking tripping and crushing my head and whatever. So that's one thing we remember. And interestingly enough, when I came back at 4 p.m., that disemboweled shopping trolley was actually no there anymore, and some other bike had parked up. Now, when I realised it was stolen, I contacted security, and they asked me to contact the police. The police are like, "Oh, yeah, we can't interview you till Saturday." Right, and I was like, "Is that fucking right?" So within the last 24 hours, actually went down to Police Scotland Paisley complex, and I've made a statement. Now, security said they will be getting as much security camera footage as possible and downloading it. I did say to the guy, if for some saying sake that I got known who the person was and they returned it back to me completely blemish free, charges will not be applied. However, if for saying sake that it returned damage, you better get a really fucking good lawyer. A really fucking good lawyer, because I'm going to actually pursue you straight into fucking remand, cunt. Right? And I'm calling you cunt. What of it? It's a name. I get called names all day. Suck it. Right. Without going too much into a rant, right? The bike what I had was very similar to this, but a teeny bit longer, and it had a gold bit, yeah. It's clear that it had been picked because there was no trace of it. And when people get their locks ground with an angle grinder, I can't even speak. The whole situation is there's a collection of iron filings, or a smell of burning metal or burning something, right? No, I'm not talking about heroin. So I believe it was picked. Security are going to be doing a download. I'm going to be talking to them again tomorrow, and if they can find anything distinguishable, let me tell you something. I'm going to charge you. You have got 6 hours from when you're hearing this video to hand it into Intubury Head Security and say, "This is Andy from Wednesday's bike. I made a mistake. He has said if I hand it back in, no charges will be applied." And they have to honour what I've said in that matter. But you never know. I mean, they could charge you because you committed theft on their land. That's the way security can be. But anyway, I wouldn't be pressing charges if you return it back completely blemish free and entirely functional. I don't want to call it parents here, your full time mummies, your gyro daddies, and whatever, and your failed abortions, right? If you have a child, a family member, a pal, a creepy uncle that has came back with a bike that you've never seen him ride before, please let me know, and I'll tell you by why. I'll tell you for why, because if you contact me via my comments are moderated, right? So if you want to put a comment in, let me tell you, no one gets to see it. It goes into a weird ducat up on my YouTube, right? It says, Andrew Van, you have a comment. right? And before I can approve it or deny it or whatever, I can get the chance to take the details and then delete the comment, and then that is a quiet way of communicating to me. And it is private, 100% private. I've even tested it before I started video. I actually got my facts right before I started talking. If you've got a family members came back extremely excited last night, absolutely tripping in excitement for some odd reason, let me know. Let me know. If you go into your garage and there's a extra bike your family member has suddenly acquired, take a photo, comment on the video, and from there, I'll be able to have a private conversation with you, and then we'll hopefully have safe return. And even at that point, if it does get returned, fine, unblemished, functional, charges don't happen. Now, I'm saying this across all types of family connection: uncles, aunties, brothers, dads, little brothers, sisters, boys, girls, whatever the fuck it is, I do not care. If a family connection has came back with a bike that they normally don't have, and the name of the bike is E Plus 24-volt folding electric bike. That's a punchline there, by the way, right? If they have come back and left it in your garage, please contact me. Also stating as well, I mean, like I said, all levels of connection. If you find bike minus its battery, you need to let me know. Do not key and seal information because the police are now involved. So if they start, if they start getting a hint of a situation and a hint of potentially who could, it could look absolutely shameful for you in court. And bear in mind, CCTV at Braehead absolutely fantastic, might add. So if you want to go not guilty, right? And there's a big fucking HD image of you fucking stealing the bike out of a red car park, I am going to root for your remand, you cunt. So yeah, I mean, like, that bike, the cost of it about £550. That's just it, right? But if you know even a friend of yours who is cutting about in a bike with no battery cassette on the back, take a photo, drop in the comments. Let's get talking about it. And that's just the way it's going to be going. I expect anybody, I'd expect anybody with any form of information, let me know. I'm not going to phone the police. I'm not going to charge because you know some information. That's just idiotic. But ultimately, if you do know something, let me know and we can solve the problem before it goes to the authorities. Because, as I said, security at Braehead's fantastic. Red car park's not a busy car park. They can distinguish you very, very quickly. They could maybe even link you to a shop you've been in and link you to credit card payments or memberships or something like it, because there's obviously things like the Excite Braehead, that's the activity centre. Interestingly enough, and ironically enough, if you do get caught by the police or caught by me, just remember the court service is actually taking up in the Odeon Cinema Complex at this point in time. So if you want a wee trip to Excite Braehead, but you go down, let me tell you something, I'll get it arranged. But if you've got some good information that actually leads to the return of the product, well, let me tell you something, that's fine. No charges will go further. I'll tell security to hold the dogs. Same with Police Scotland. But I tell you something, as again, CCTV is really good. Now, if you thought you were being a bright dick for taking the bike, picking into a lock, and getting home, one of your friends could actually sink you in if they watch this YouTube video and realise that it's been a bump. You've just bragged a bike, essentially. Uh, just remember, it's over £500 that one is, right? So it's not just losing a wee fucking a ring down the sink or something like that. This is a little bit more serious, and I think probably the person who has stolen the bike, the fact that he picked it up, and it's obviously so, right, must mean they were in a life of financial destitution, and they were using the bike to get some kind of pawnage for money, probably because they've been sanctioned off a universal credit or employment support allowance. But that is not a narrative I should be interested in or care in. If you've been sanctioned, it's your fucking problem. Your fucking problem. Your fucking problem. If you're willing to get through locks, then you've got a mental tenacity that is actually really bloody good to actually get yourself a job and stop mooching the fucking benefits, wanker. Right? It's clear the person had some kind of premeditation behind them, and a premeditation to use a picking tool to actually break the lock, take the bike. They thought they were all, oh, look at me, I've got my electric bike. Oh, yes, buzzing. You don't have the battery, you silly Mongol. Yes, I've just said the word. Orbit. Words. We're Clydesdale built, not fucking built like welts. So, yeah. I've done my call out to the parents. Also, if there is a person out there watching this video and they have the bike, return it before you get charged. If you can return it and converse with me via the comments underneath, and the bike gets returned with not a scratch on it, nothing will happen to you, right? I might ask your name, and then I can find your social media channel on Facebook, and have a wee derisive have a giggle, look at it, check it, right? But that's as far as it goes. But if you're holding back information, I suggest you deceased and get commenting right away. I mean, that's just pathetic doing that. Like, give yourself a wee bit more credit and actually go, wait a minute, I'll hand myself in and I'll bring you back in. So I'm getting to the end of this video. As you've seen, it wasn't a most happy context, but ultimately, you know what to do if you're a good boy and girl. You hand in what you know. You hand in the bike. The exchange takes place, and no more said. Other than that, I'm going to get you put in remand, you cunt. Right, so that's our episode of Wall Fail. And the fail people are anybody that's been involved in getting the bike out of that lock and also stealing it. Hashtag Wall Fail. Check our other videos branded Wall Fail. Suck my dick, cunt.